And I did a late night run the other day to get some local Blackwood parts. So these are the chair skirts that I was missing. I got a brand new, well, not new, but new to me, engine cover, fog light, and radio. And then I've got some trailing arms as well that I picked up. And we'll get all this stuff installed and continue on with the rehab process. Welcome back to Patman Garage. So we got a few parts that I picked up from a local Blackwood part out. So we'll get started on doing some quick little stuff today. I got a new fog light, and I got the leather seat skirts and for the rear seats. And yeah, we'll just jump into doing some little tasks here, and yeah, take you along for the ride. Also, side note, I had fixed I thought I'd fixed the transmission leak. I still have a little bit of leak. It's not as bad as it was after I did the pan gasket, but I'm thinking the front pump is leaking on it. So this will probably be a good excuse to go ahead and parlay into what I want to do with the truck, my short-term, long-term plans. So I did actually get the truck running and driving. And it still has issues with it wanting to stall at idle with your foot on the brake. So I'm thinking I've got some vacuum leaks, which is not end of the world. I've got some stuff on order for that as well. But my short-term, long-term plans is going to be doing a 6R80 swap on this thing. So here in a little bit, we'll start collecting some parts for it. Actually just picked up a Stifler's transmission crossmember that somebody was selling online, so that will be one piece of the puzzle, and we'll jump into this along the way here. And I've got a buddy that works or owns a junk salvage yard in Houston, so I've got a verbal order that I want to pick up a transmission from him at some point soon as well. So anyways, we'll jump into the little tasks today, and we'll see how this goes. Alright, so this is the cover I picked up from Amazon, and it is kind of big. It honestly looks kind of tacky because it's like a foot too long. Like, I don't know, just not really happy with it, but I ended up tucking this one over the tire because my leak situation before I had the drain pan underneath it was kind of the cover was kind of getting into the oil a little bit, so yeah, we'll get the cover pulled off, we'll get our fog light installed in this corner, and then we'll jump into the truck and work on the seat skirts. And I don't know if we're going to get to it today or not, but I picked up a set of trailing arms off the part out Blackwood as well. One of mine on the passenger side is bent, and the passenger side on the pair was bent that came off the truck. I'm hoping that Ford has built ambidextrous arms and I can just take this arm and put it on the truck, even though it's a driver's side arm. So at some point we'll get into that. That was previously mentioned on another video. So we'll see. Also potentially have a good set of drop-down brackets if somebody is looking to do something custom with their own truck. They bolt in right next to the leaf spring hanger, which is a pretty sweet little setup. So anyways, that'll be a future project potentially. Not today because I don't really feel like being on the ground, but we'll jump into the fog light and seat skirts today. All right, promise I'm not getting distracted here, but these are the skirts off the rear seats. They clip in on the back of the seat frame, so we'll have to pull the seat and then we'll disassemble the seat a little bit and we'll pop those in. I did also pick up a Lincoln Blackwood bottle jack. They're the exact same that came in the F-150. However, I came across this, which is apparently Blackwood specific as well. I did not know this existed. This was not included in my original 2003 F-150. And yeah, I think that this is a tool to pop off the Lincoln specific center caps. How about that? did not know that was on there, and actually I've never even had these caps off before, and it looks like I've got some aftermarket lugs. So at some point I'll put some factory lugs on this thing. But yeah, that was a interesting little tool I didn't know existed. Always learning something new about these trucks. Okay, and with the bottle jack stored in the bracket, you just kind of tighten or lift the bottle jack until it expands into the bracket. And then this guy was just sitting in here with it, just kind of loosely. I don't know if there's supposed to be a retainer or something that goes with it. It seems like that's going to rattle, but yeah, I was very surprised to see that. And then missing still my lug wrench, which is going to go clip in here and clip in here and kind of get tucked in that position. All right, so jumping in the back seat. Not sure why, but we have a bonus starter that came with the truck. Don't know what the story is behind that. I may run that by the parts store and have them bench test it to see if it's even good. So I pulled my cover off of the bottom of the seat here, and I went ahead and pulled my first bolt out. It's just a 13 millimeter. And I'll get you in here nice and close, and I found there is some little bit of broken glass in here. So at some point this truck got broke into, and I did also look, and it looks like the back, you're not gonna be able to see that, you'll take my word for it, the back glass is not original back here. The marking on the corner of the glass is a little bit different, but anyways, we're gonna keep pulling the back seat out. So pull my 13s off here, and then we'll fold the seat forward, and then we'll pull the back bolts out, and then we'll get it out of the truck and take a look at the actual skirts. All right, we got the seat removed. We got it on its back, belly up, and we can see if I fold the seat actually the bottom up. Now in the truck this would be the backrest folding down, but with it folded out of the truck, we can see what is remaining of our skirt on this side, and to access that we have to pull off our seat bottom, which is going to be our Torx 40 if I remember correctly. We'll pull those off and we'll get access to where this actually attaches here, and then we'll put our new skirts on and get them clipped to our seat frame. All right, got my bolts undone. I'm just going to slide the seat bottom off the frame here, let the brackets relax, and hey, look, I'm making more money. I just pulled another penny out of this truck. I think that we're gonna have to add a running total here, but I pulled some out of the back seat already. Anyways, so these brackets are where my skirts actually clip in here. So we're gonna have to pop off the, I guess we'll call this the hinge skirt. This will have to come off first, and then behind it is where our attachment is for the actual front skirts. So we'll get the trim tool out and start popping these apart, and we'll continue on. Also, I'm going to note that the back of the seat frame is a little bit rusted, which is not surprising given how much water leak we had in this truck. So not crazy about that, but I don't think it's really that structural. In my opinion, it looks like it's just kind of more surface rust, but yeah, for a truck that isn't really going to see a whole lot of backseat usage, I'm not really too worried about that. But anyways, we'll continue on with the skirts here. All right, now I just grabbed my favorite little snap-on trim tool and popped off my skirts, the hinge skirts as we're going to call them, and just a single push pin clippy here, and then we have access to our skirt clip, which is going to be here, and so we'll pop those guys off real quick, and then we'll be ready to install the donor skirts on here. All right, and then the donor skirts, I need to figure out which one is which. I think this will be, I don't know, I'll play with it. I'm going to go look at the other side, I guess, too, but I'll figure out which one's which, and we'll get them mounted in here. Yeah. So I don't want to call these left and right because that seems kind of misleading, I guess. But the flat edge is going to be on the side that's going up towards the seat itself. And then the tapered cut out side is going to be the one on the bottom side towards the carpet. So this will be this one here. We'll get this wrapped around and clipped in place once we get the seat actually installed, but for now we're just going to clip this on our bracket and then we'll build it back up. So we're going to clip there and then we'll clip our hinge skirt on there, and then we'll be ready to rebolt our brackets onto the seat frame, and then we'll clip these at the very end. Okay, we've got the seat skirt. Oh my gosh, look at that. I just found more change. That is not staged at all. I literally just saw that while in the camera. That's funny. I got my skirts fully assembled, got my seat bottom back on and all that good stuff. So we're in really good shape to toss this back in the truck. Now, the question is, do I want to actually bolt it back into the truck or not? It's only 7 bolts, but I'm kind of thinking I just toss it back in there and leave it. I don't know. Back and forth on that one, but I'm going to be pulling the interior out of this thing anyways. Probably sooner than later because I need to do cab bushings on it. So maybe we'll just leave it out. I don't know. I can't decide. Maybe I'll bolt it in, just kind of start the bolts. All right, so I've decided I'm going to, after arguing with myself, I decided I'm going to go ahead and bolt the seat back in, just at least set the bolts in it. Before I did that, I wanted to vacuum out the broken glass that was in that back corner, underneath where the bracket goes for the seat. So I dug out the old shop vac, got that taken care of. It's looking pretty good in there for just a quick once over on the vacuum. So I'll take you for a quick look at that. But yeah, like I said, it cleaned up pretty nicely in here. It's not perfect. My plan long term is going to be when I pull the interior out to do the cab bushings, because there's a bolt here in the back corner and one here and one up front. When I pull the interior out, I'm going to pressure wash the carpet and make sure I get all of that actual dirt and grime out of it, and we'll do a good deep cleaning on the interior. That'll be probably a whole video by itself of interesting things we find. But for now, we'll get the seat tossed back in here and on to other projects today. So the irony is not lost on me that I'm obsessing over the details about these seat skirts, and when I bought the truck, I didn't even know it had them. So I think that's the exciting or enjoyable part about this Blackwood for me, is nerding out about all these new little things. I have several other new things that I've discovered, and I will have some additional videos on those as well. But yeah, just wanted to make that funny comment because, like I said, it occurred to me that I'm obsessing about little details, which is actually kind of the point of the Blackwood to begin with. Is Ford went out of their way to obsess about little details and make it a true luxury truck, and not just okay, it's a fender badge, but anyways, we'll jump into the front of the truck now, and we'll take a look at the fog light situation, and hopefully that works out well. So I'll meet you at the front of the truck. All right, so this fog light has seen better days. Looks like we had some sort of meltdown in the bulb here. They probably had some sort of aftermarket bulbs in it, would be my guess. So we'll crawl underneath the truck and figure out what it's going to take to replace that guy. And I think it just bolts in and out pretty easily, but we'll get that knocked out real quick. All right, so there's the back of the fog light. So we've got 8mm bracket here, and then I think there's 2 up top. So we'll get the whole entire bracket removed, and fog light should come with that, and then we'll get this new one installed. Also, side note, I just saw this, and I don't know what this is. It looks like it's probably aftermarket. It looks like a little sheet metal. I wonder if maybe they had a part of their remote start. Maybe they had a alarm or something here, but this does not look factory. But anyways, we're gonna stop getting distracted. We're gonna get this fog light done. Yeah, that fog light definitely has not seen Yeah, that fog light definitely has seen better days. That's crazy. I mean, it looks like it just melted straight through the housing, bracket, everything. That's so wild looking. So we'll get this thing. We'll get the new one popped in the truck. This one did have a little bit of a kind of a twist to it almost when I removed it. So I don't know if maybe the bracket, the bumper is bent just slightly, but I'll take my time putting this one back in just to make sure we don't have any issues with it. All right, so here is the answer to my question. I had a looks like there was some sort of aftermarket LED bulb situation here. I also just discovered my bracket is broken on this corner here. But yeah, that's what that other bracket is that was on the other side that I showed you earlier, is the ballast for the aftermarket LED or HID bulb here. So that explains a lot. So that explains a whole lot. And yeah, we'll probably be returning this side to stock more than likely. Just got to find me another fog light now. Then my buddy came over and pointed out to me that this fog light we removed doesn't have the Ford oval in the middle of it, which is kind of strange. And then I saw, it's real hard to see down here in the bottom corner, bottom edge, it says TYC. See if I can get that on camera. Might just take a picture of that, but yeah, down here it says TYC. So this is an aftermarket fog light.